Good morning.
We played well, we
Solent
dominated.
Sports News. I'm Fraser Day, and here are your 1:30 headlines. Ruben Sellers will take charge of Southampton for the second time this weekend when the Saints play Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Southampton remain managerless after the club failed to agree terms with ex-Leeds manager Jesse Marsch. A win for Southampton would take them to within 1 point of 17th placed Everton. It's just over 8 hours until the deadline for potential buyers of Manchester United to make their initial bids. It's understood that bids will be made from the United States, Saudi Arabia and Sir Jim Ratcliffe's Ineos Group, as well as investors linked to the Qatari royal family. There's a huge game at the bottom of the table this weekend as 17th place Leeds take on 18th placed Everton. Sean Dyche will be looking for his second win in charge of the Toffees, lifting them out of the relegation zone. As for Leeds, a win could see the Yorkshire club go 4 points clear of the drop zone if results go their way. In the early kick-off tomorrow, a wounded Arsenal head to the Midlands to face former manager Unai Emery's Aston Villa. Despite playing on Wednesday night, the Gunners head to Villa Park just 53 hours later. Manager Mikel Arteta has called for the Premier League to offer more protection over fixture congestion.
And that's what we want to do, and obviously they put the schedule the way they did it, which is a bit unusual, but it's what it is. And the players, again, I said, they are highly motivated for tomorrow's game because we want to perform well and win the game. Well, there are certain rules with Champions League when it's playing on Wednesday night and then you cannot play, so I think that should apply to any competition.
Is it something that has been discussed in maybe the Premier League managers' meetings or the shareholders?
Yeah, that's why I think one of the changes was made toward the Champions League teams especially. But I think following the same principle, I think you're talking physiologically that it's very difficult to turn around on that period to get the best outcome and reduce the injury risk for players. But that's it.
Elsewhere in the Premier League, there's 2 London derbies as Brentford host Crystal Palace, with West Ham heading to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium looking for a result against the depleted Spurs side. There's no Antonio Conte for Spurs as he continues his recovery following surgery to remove his gallbladder. Rodrigo Bentancur, Hugo Lloris and Yves Bissouma will also miss the game with ongoing injury problems. A man has pleaded guilty to assault by beating after attacking Arsenal goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on the 15th of January. Joseph Watts, the 35-year-old male from Hackney, East London, appeared at Uxbridge Magistrates Court this morning. The FA are set to trial 100 body cams on grassroots referees across England. The partner leagues trialling the body cams are located in Middlesbrough, Liverpool, Worcester and Essex, with the aim to improve respect and behaviour from players and supporters. This comes following a BBC survey where 98% of referees said they have received some kind of abuse. The Southampton Senior Cup quarter-finals have gotten underway this week, with Hythe and Dibden playing Lox Heath last night. Here's Ollie Power with more.
Hythe and Dibden hosted local rivals Lox Heath in the quarter-final of the Southampton Senior Cup on Thursday night at Clayfield. Although it wasn't the main story of the night, as standing at 6'3" in the middle of the pitch for the home side was former Southampton and Premier League player Joe Tessum. The home side won 4-1 when a Sawyer penalty saw them equalise from the spot before Feeney and Drury added to the goal, with Charlie Bradley making it 4 from a free kick, seeing a comfortable victory on a windy night under the lights in front of all 80 fans. This sees them go through to the semi-final of the competition.
Alpine were the final team to reveal their car for the upcoming Formula 1 season last night. Following a shakedown on Monday, the team pulled the covers off their A523 during a ceremony in London. Looking ahead to the season, a 3-day pre-season test will take place from the 23rd to the 25th of February as Alpine look to consolidate 4th place in 2023. Esteban Ocon spoke after the launch in a preview for the new season.
It's been a good winter. I think we are obviously very proud of the work we have all achieved. And you know, the little bonus obviously is that we drove the car already, which you know, has been obviously sensational to be driving again. You know, all these hours of work from everyone, from Viry to Enstone, thousands of people, you know, working to deliver this car. It's just been great, you know, to just let it go out the garage, put full throttle for the first time, and yeah, that gave me obviously the smile.
Despite losing 2 late wickets, England ended the day 2 of the first test against New Zealand with a lead of 98 runs. New Zealand had slumped to 37 with 3 wickets from 18 overs in the final session on day 1, as England closed on 79 for 2 from 16 overs. Half-centuries from Australia's Usman Khawaja and Peter Handscomb left the second test against India in the balance after the opening day in Delhi. After opting to bat, the tourists were bowled out for 263 with opener Khawaja making 81 and Handscomb 72 not out. Welsh rugby players are considering strike action ahead of their Six Nations game against England on the 25th of February. The players are in dispute with bosses about a long-term pay agreement. Alan Wynne-Jones says it will be the last option for Wales players to go on strike.
I suppose it is. It'd be hard to deny, but it's the very last. It's the very last option. There are people really impassioned. I think ultimately, if you treat people badly for long enough, you get to where we find ourselves. And again, we realise what we do and how fortunate we are to do it. But if this was any other line of work, any other industry, for this period of time, with this amount of uncertainty, you'd get the same reaction.
In horse racing, jockey Tom Scudamore has announced his shock retirement from the sport with immediate effect. The 40-year-old is the 10th most successful jockey of all time, having ridden 1,511 winners in his career. Scudamore took the decision after taking a fall on Thursday. And it was a big week for football here at the university, as Solent football's second team took on the University of Southampton in a local derby. Despite a narrow defeat, manager Sam Fisher remains optimistic for the rest of the season.
We played well, we dominated most of the game, to be honest, in my opinion. Didn't take our chances when we had them and conceded a very sloppy goal at the end, in the middle of the second half. So all in all, disappointment, but performance was up there, to be fair. Considering they beat us, what was it? I think it was like 4-2 last time we played them. We played a lot better, but we were coming in as the underdogs. They're top of the table. I don't think they've lost the game. And we obviously lost the game, and then we drew three on the bounce. So it's just one of those. They've got more momentum coming into the game, and that one lucky goal obviously come for them, not us.
Later today, we'll be speaking to Winchester City FC goalkeeper and Bournemouth under-23s coach Charlie Philpott. But for now, let's take a look at some of Charlie's best saves from their recent game with Bracknell Town. That's all for now on Solent Sports News. Join us at 3:30 for interviews with former Saints midfielder Joe Tessum and Solent first team left back Louis Moore following back-to-back title wins. Goodbye.